Firstly, apologies for the lack of content on the channel for way too long now. This video marks a significant milestone in this channel and my career. So after 30 years in the brewing industry, as a senior engineer, I've decided to call it quits, and I now want to focus on Mezzmo Engineering. To be successful, I need to build my own workshop, and that's what I'll be doing, is starting a new series called Building the Dream, and that'll include a new workshop facility, rainwater storage, solar energy, and lots more. So if you're interested and you want to see what it takes to be an owner builder, make sure you subscribe and I'll take you through every detail. I haven't been out on my bike for a while, so I'll get out the bike and I'll take you through the plan.
So after a fair bit of thinking, I thought to myself that if I don't make a move now, I will never do this. So my main drive is to open up my own business. I will still offer my services in project management and various consulting services, as well as be able to build things out of my workshop. So the plan from here is I need to build a workshop and also want to add a rainwater tank. So I did go through the process and I want to be an owner builder. So you need to check in your own state or country, but here in South Australia, to be an owner builder is actually quite simple. The requirements are is that you need to be the owner and you need to have the intent of staying in that home, and you need to build to all the current building standards, and you also need to gain approval from your local council. So in my case, I looked at a number of different shed suppliers and I want a custom build, and I just couldn't get anything that was suitable for me. So in the end, I decided to go through an architect and an engineer myself, go through the design process and register myself as an owner builder. Now in South Australia, you also don't need an owner builder training course or a white card, which I believe you do need in every other state outside of South Australia. Now I do have a white card. If you're going to be an owner builder, I recommend you get one. It's a good training session to do. It'll give you an idea of what the requirements are and also remind you about safety on construction. I also did the owner builder training course, which you don't need to do in South Australia, but again I think you might have to in other states. If you're in South Australia, maybe look into that. For me personally, I did it online. I thought it was a bit of a waste of time, to be honest, and I didn't really learn much. Having said that, I've been in project management for a long time. I know what the rules are and I'm pretty familiar with what I want to do. So that would be the only other thing I'd say, is if you're going to be an owner builder, you need to know what you want, because ultimately you are driving the build. And if you're going to just rely on tradespeople to tell you what to do, I think there's a high chance of you coming unstuck. The first stage was I worked with an architect to draw up the plans of what I wanted. We went to council, and before doing engineering, I decided that we'd submit just the plans and just see what happened, because if you do engineering as well and the council has too many questions, then you're basically doing rework. So all I did was I came up with the design myself, an architect drew up what I wanted, and then we submitted those. Now the first stage is planning consent, which goes to your council. There is a fee for that, and essentially planning consent is just saying that, you know, it's this high, this wide, this is what it looks like in a certain position. And if you get approval, planning approval, they're essentially saying that the type of building you want is approved. The next stage is development approval, and that's where you need to do the engineering. You need to provide all of the structural calculations, how big your beams and your footings are going to be, and once the council's happy, you then get development approval. Once you get development approval, there's another fee, and then you also have to pay a training levy of 0.25% of the value of the build. The only other thing you need to do is notify the council 1 day prior to starting your build. Now it does take a while, and that's why my channel's been slow, because it's taken nearly 9 months to get full approval. And what I did is I got approval for my workshop as well as a large rainwater tank. I had a few requirements that I didn't want to budge on, and one was I needed a 1 ton lifting beam that would hinge off of the peak of the roof, and I also wanted to have eaves, and I wanted particular materials. And when I went to shed suppliers, you know, whilst they can change things in terms of width and height a little bit, adding loading beams and things like that was just outside of the scope of what they could offer. So as I said, it was just easier for me to go through an architect and an engineer and just design it myself. And the benefit of that is once it's all drawn up, I just use the plans. I intend to do a lot of this build myself, and I'm just buying materials and then building it. When you buy a kit, you are paying for the materials, but you're also paying for the engineering and the time that that business put into it. So you're paying over and above the cost of materials. Now here's a look at one of the sites that are online. There's many like this where you can actually put your design together. So this is roughly where I started. That's around, I started at 20 meters by about 12 meters wide. This one's from Shed Bonanza. This may suit your needs, and you can pick colors and do all sorts of things and get this 3D image of what you want. Broadly speaking, this is what I'm after. So at the end there, I'm going to put a car hoist. The middle section here would be where I put my lathe and mill, like a machining area. At the back there, I want some clean storage. This would be the main work area, just this big open area. I would have a lifting beam towards this end, hinge to that peak, and a mezzanine floor, which I couldn't do with this plan. And then in this corner would be where my office is. So here's the approved plan. Storage one is my office area. Just to going around to the right is a toilet and the machine area. I decided on a separate storage room, that's storage 2, and then on the top right is another clean storage or work area. Then there's the main work area itself at the bottom there, and you can see the mezzanine and the lifting beam. Now for the tank, I decided on Heritage water tanks. I'm not linked with them at all, so I'll give you an honest review of how it goes. I've decided on quite a large tank because we're purely on rainwater. So in the next video, I'll start the rainwater build, and I'll go through all the details on rainwater and how you can benefit from harvesting your own rainwater, and that includes making it potable. So finally, don't forget to subscribe. I'll be doing regular updates, and I'll see you in the next video.